What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Phoenix Suns, and we're going to be talking about why they will be able to survive without Chris Paul, and we're going to jump right into the video. And looking at the Phoenix Suns so far this season, they have a record of 48 and 10, and that's good enough to have them with the best record in all of the NBA and the Western Conference. And they just been playing some great dominating basketball all season long, as they rank top 10 in every statistical category except offensive rebounding. So this is a really well-rounded team. And before we talk about how they will survive without Chris Paul, and I only say they can survive without him because it's supposedly only supposed to be six to 8 weeks, and I think this team will be fine without Chris Paul for 6 to 8 weeks. I think this team is that good. But before we talk about that, we got to talk about the impact that Chris Paul brings to this team. And I knew he was going to make this team so much better. I don't know if you guys remember, but as soon as Chris Paul got traded to the Suns, as soon as he landed off his jet, him and Devin Booker got straight into the gym, and they had a private workout with each other. And that right there just picks up so many good habits for not only Devin Booker, but for a young Phoenix Suns team. Chris Paul, he has come there and been nothing but a great leader. And I would say that the Chris Paul experiment for the Phoenix Suns have shattered expectations. And I can say this, nobody expected them to be this good. I think they finished second in the Western Conference last year, and then right now they're the #1 seed, and they just been dominating since Chris Paul has gotten there. But looking at what Chris Paul has been for the Phoenix Suns this season, I would say Chris Paul is damn near playing like the best point guard in the league. He's averaging 15 points and 11 assists. 15 points and 11 assists on 49% shooting from the field, and that's just unbelievable. And I know we talk about LeBron James and how he's 37 years of age and what he's doing is crazy, but I feel like Chris Paul, he deserves that same type of attention, because what he's doing at the age of 36, he's looking like Chris Paul from when 2014 when he played on the Lob City Clippers. That's just how cerebral and how good he's been this season. And of course, not only is his numbers good, but his impact that he has on the court is unbelievable as well, because he's such a great playmaker. And not only that, he's such a genius. I think him and LeBron James are tied for the smartest basketball players in the NBA. They just know they know where players are going to be. They know how to pick guys in the right spot. And then not only that, on the defensive side of the ball, Chris Paul probably recognizes every play that a coach throws at him. So having that type of player out on the court is very vital. And it's like, I know you guys have heard this saying before, it's like Chris Paul is like having your coach out there on the floor with him, because that's just how smart he is. So Chris Paul, he's a guy that brings so much to this team, and it's going to be very tough. It's going to be very tough for the Phoenix Suns to go without them. But that doesn't mean that the Phoenix Suns aren't capable of winning a few games without Chris Paul. And if we look at what Monty Jones, if we look at what Monty Williams and James Jones have done when it comes to constructing his roster over the last couple of years, they made it to where they can have an injury like if Chris Paul was out for the season, I'll be making a totally different video right now, but he's only out for 6 to 8 weeks. So they have guys not that can fill his shoes, but can help make up some of the ground that they'll be missing without Chris Paul. Like Cameron Payne, his story, how he was out in the NBA and how he's came back, and he's been a solid backup for Chris Paul. I don't know if you guys remember, but last year against the first round against the Lakers, Chris Paul couldn't use his right shoulder. He cannot shoot the basketball. And he was just on JJ Redick's podcast, and he was saying that he don't know if the Lakers knew, but he couldn't shoot the ball. So Cameron Payne coming in and giving the Phoenix Suns those huge boosts off the bench, that was so vital. That was so vital for the Suns last year, because Chris Paul's shoulder was literally impaired. But Cameron Payne, he came off the bench. He was a spark plug, and his game is really fun to watch, because he's an unpredictable player. You will never know when there's one night where he has the 3 ball going. He might hit two or three threes in a row, He might be getting to the basket. His floater game can work sometimes. And then not only that, he's kind of just like Chris Paul. He's a pesky guy on. He's a pesky little dude on the side of the ball too. And the good news for the Phoenix Suns is he's supposed to be returning this Thursday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we got that. And then they also brought in Aaron Holiday literally at the perfect time. And Aaron Holiday, he isn't. You look at his stats, they don't pop out at you. He averaged 6 points and 3 rebounds, but he's a guy that knows how to play his role, and he's a guy that doesn't need the ball that much because he's pretty efficient for the minimum amount of shots he gets up. And we all know how basketball works. It's hard to get your shot going when you're not getting that many touches. And getting cold is actually a real thing, but that doesn't seem to be a problem for Aaron Holiday. When he comes into the game, he's able to be effective, and he's looked pretty good so far in the games that he played as a Phoenix Sun so far this season. So getting him was pretty vital. Landry Shamet is supposed to be coming back. But not only that, I'm looking at the Phoenix Suns main core. I'm looking at Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges. I'm expecting these young guys to act. I'm expecting them to step up. If you guys don't remember, when the last time we were in the bubble, the Phoenix Suns went 8-0, and this was before they got Chris Paul. And I'm not saying that the Phoenix Suns are better without Chris Paul, and I'm not saying they're better without Chris Paul. But what I'm saying is, the last time we seen them without Chris Paul, they went 8-0 in the bubble. So that's something to pay attention to. And I think Devin Booker is he's the type of player that can carry a burden. He can carry a load. I think he's that good. And since Devin Booker, since he seen that he wasn't an all-star starter again, last year they didn't even vote him. He came in as a reserve. And then this year, I'm going to be honest, Ja Morant, he didn't deserve that spot over D-Book, only because he missed a lot of time and his team was winning without him. And then D-Book, like I said, best record in the NBA, and he plays the shooting guard. Yeah, I think it should go point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. But you can go with 2 point guards. But anyways, Devin Booker, since that he's been playing unbelievable, averaging 29 points per game, and then also in the fourth quarter he's Mr. Clutch, as he has a true shooting percentage of 78%. That means he's hitting almost 80% of everything he takes in the fourth quarter. But I feel like Devin Booker has matured into a player that can carry a load offensively, and he's gotten really better defensively as well. And I think DeAndre Ayton, as he's getting healthier, the Phoenix Suns are going to look for him for more touches to score the basketball more. And then Mikal Bridges, great defender, great cutter, great catch and shooter. I expect him to continue what he's going to keep doing. And then the Phoenix Suns, they have all the depth in the world. They still have Cam Johnson. They still have JaVale McGee, Bismack Biyombo. So they have guys to fill Chris Paul's shoes. Not all the way, though, because Chris Paul is the type of guy that you can't fill his shoes. So we're going to see what's going to happen. And I think the only thing that the Phoenix Suns really have to worry about is Chris Paul being back the first round of the playoffs. That's because his injury said that he would be re-evaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. So we don't know what exactly that means, but it could ultimately be a problem depending on who they face in the first round of the playoffs. But we're going to hope that CP3 is healthy for the playoffs. That's one thing as a basketball fan. I may not be a fan of the Phoenix Suns, but you want everybody to be healthy, so it's a fair shot, and we are able to see the best basketball we can see. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below if you think the Phoenix Suns can survive without Chris Paul, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man. And that's curtains.